That was, okay. Okay, I'd like to call to order the, where are we? April 3rd meeting of the Natural Resources Board. Thank you all for coming. And if we could, please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, if we could proceed with the roll call.
Vice Black.
Here.
Mr. Gordian.
Here.
Mr. O'Neill.
Here.
Ms. Glazer. Here. Mr. Van Hoffman.
Present.
Mr. Stadelman.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the list would be the approval of February's meeting minutes.
Motion to approve?
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second. I second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Can we do a oral roll call? That's okay. All those who approve, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. And all those opposed? Okay, the motion has been approved. For the next item, the announcements, we have Mr. Van Hoffman as our new Natural Resources Board member.
Yay.
A warm welcome.
Thank you very much for your service.
A warm welcome to our newest board member, Jason Van Hoffman. Sebastian resident, Jason is a realtor who volunteers regularly with local organizations such as Boys and Girls Club and Habitat for Humanity. He has a passion for creating a balance between development and the protection of our area's natural resources. Be a true asset. Welcome, Jason.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And the next item on the announcements would be the open positions on the Natural Resources Board.
We currently have one regular position available, as well as 2 alternate positions.
Are they, and they're still currently being advertised on the website, as far as we know? Yeah.
It's my understanding it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
they are. They're still there.
Okay. Okay. Item number 6 on the agenda, we have public input. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jane Schnee. I live in Sebastian. I have for quite a long time. I happened to look at the agenda before I came here and realized that you're going to be talking about this at the next meeting, but I'm going to be out of town for your next meeting, so I wanted to bring up some things about changing our landscaping ordinance. We can no longer live with planting all this grass and non-native plants that we put in new houses, and there's a lot of development going on, both residential and commercial. So I just wanted to point out a couple of things. If it were up to me, I wouldn't have any grass at all, but that's me, but I know you might not want to go that far. There's a model ordinance that the Florida Native Plant Society sort of put together, and it talks about a lot of things. And you can just Google that, Florida Native Plant Society Model Landscape Ordinance, and there's a lot of good information in there. And some cities, and this was done quite a number of years ago, and even a number of years ago, cities like Sanibel required 75% of the property to have native plants, not the grass. The current ordinance, I don't know how many of you read it, but it talks about everything that doesn't have 5 trees on a lot is supposed to be grass. Grass requires fertilizer, it requires water. It's an invasive plant, really. I mean, it's a non-native invasive plant. And it's killing our lagoon with all this fertilizer and weed killers and water that's being used up. So if we could get, with new buildings anyway, I don't know what you can do about homes that are already built, but with new buildings, if we can get them to lessen the amount of grass and plant native plants, In North America, 314 species of birds, including the bald eagle and 10 state birds, are at risk for extinction in the next few years. Why? Loss of habitat, loss of food. When the birds migrate through here, they can't eat the grass. They don't eat the non-native plants that we have that are trimmed back that can't even flower for, bees and butterflies to pollinate. So we need native plants to save our bird species. We need native plants to save our butterflies and some of our other wildlife. There were 16 million fewer monarch butterflies this year compared to last year. They're going to go extinct if we don't do something to help out. So I really hope that you can do something about it. I know it's scheduled for your agenda for next month to change, and that is one of the assignments that the Natural Resource Board has, is to look at our ordinances, at least the landscape ordinance, periodically. I know this because I used to be on the Sebastian Natural Resource Board.
Okay.
And I brought this issue up about a year ago, and I hadn't heard anything, but I'm really glad that you're doing it. And the other thing is, it talks in here, it gives about 5 invasive plants that are not allowed to be planted. I'm going to pass this out. Is that okay? These are all the plants that the Florida FLEPPC considers invasive in the state of Florida. So why not put in our ordinance that none of these can be planted? Once again, they're about the same as, maybe worse than having grass. Our birds and butterflies aren't going to like them. Plus, they spread into natural areas. The Sebastian River State Park, for example, just had to spend $175,000 to get rid of invasive plants, and we're allowing people to plant them in their yards. And those seeds are going to be spread by birds and everything else. So it would save a lot of money if we just don't allow people to plant them to begin with, and maybe the whole list. Anyway, that's it. Thank you, and I hope you come up with something good.
Jane, another question. So the city of Sanibel did create this ordinance?
What's that?
The city of Sanibel did create that ordinance?
Let me put these in because I can't hear in this room.
The city of Sanibel, they created that ordinance?
All cities have a landscaping ordinance.
Right. But they have one that forbids, that has a list of these invasive species on it? Or is that what they modeled it after?
I don't know if they do or not. I
okay.
didn't read the entire ordinance. These ordinances can be
native.
it can be 67 pages long,
Right, well, it looks quite large.
But just a statement in there
Right.
that
Sure.
no plant on the FLEPPC invasive species list should be, planted, for new development. Something as simple as that. You don't have to list them all, really. But I think right now there's only 4 or 5 that people aren't allowed to plant in the current ordinance. So, did I answer your question, Kevin?
Somewhat. I'll look it up.
Okay.
Well,
Thank
thank
you,
you for
Jane.
your input. That was very helpful.
So we're doing it, we need to do it to save the lagoon, to save our birds, our wildlife, our butterflies,
Yeah.
and to save money. And then other natural areas don't have to spend all this money getting rid of invasive plants if we allow them to be planted. So, okay, thank you.
Does make sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, well, hold on.
Thank you very much, Jane. And it is there on the agenda. I know we discussed last meeting about the native plants as well with the seminar that you had gone to, Rose. So we certainly will be addressing that.
Yeah.
Is there any other public input, sir?
Hi, everybody. My name is Bob Stephen. I live at 150 Concha Drive, and Sebastian here. And this goes along with what Jane was talking about. I'll have it 3 of these. I was hoping that more would share.
It's all right.
Maybe you can get them out at the next gathering. We're going to subscribe to those magazines so that give you an idea of what a sustained yard looks like. Marine Resource Council has been pushing it for quite a few years. The city of Miami, you asked about cities that have changed their ordinances. City of Miami has recently changed radically with no herbicides, pesticides downtown, and they're requiring certain amount of trees and more drainage for natural.
Coral Springs as well.
Yeah. So this is something, we're in the middle of the Indian River Lagoon, which is a hot spot right now. In fact, if you've looked out the window, the brown tide is coming our way as we speak. And according to Dwayne DeFries and a few other people, if that happens here, this is the toxic algae that may not want to leave here. So we really need to move now. I'm glad to see there's some new faces here. We've tried to, when I say we, I'm with the Friends of St. Sebastian River and a couple other organizations and People for Clean Water in Sebastian. Right. And we've been trying to get the city to stop shooting glyphosate now for 3 or 4 years. To no avail. They haven't been able to do that. We've asked this board to help, but now we've got a new group. Maybe, and there's some more things have happened. Much as Monsanto's is winning at the fight over the carcinogen stamp on glyphosate, which is Roundup. We're still fighting it, and the projects that we're working on this year, we're putting signage up. We're offering people signage for their lawns. It'll say less water, less fertilizer, things like that for a sustainable yard. We also have no spray signs. And we've going to have a couple other educational programs going on where we can educate the people on how to treat their septic systems. And we're going to go door to door on this, hopefully very nicely, We don't get thrown out of them. Sometimes the people don't even want to answer the doors. You see the curtain move a little bit and then they close it, But we're trying. Don't know full answers to it, but Friends of St. Sebastian River, so we're really active. 2 of my fellow members are here, and we're going to do something this year. We're going to spend some money, whether it's right or wrong, and if you guys are interested in getting involved with us, we'll be more than glad to do whatever we can to help you guys do what you're going to do. And if you want to talk about this further, we'll be at the Earth Day, too. You guys are going to be at Earth Day. So we'll be there all day, and we'll have some more literature, and thanks again for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Any questions?
Would you spell your name?
S-T-E-P-H-E-N is my last name. I live in a perfect situation where you can look out and see the canal. I have a big, big body of water, a little bigger than this room in front of my house. Have 2 big canals coming into it. I'm across from a water park that I don't think is being used, but it is. And it's been, I think, 9 weeks without glyphosate. And if any of you would like to come to my house, you're more than welcome, 150 Concha Drive. If my garage door is open, I'm probably working in the yard someplace. You come by my house and come to the front of my house, and you'll see a big, beautiful lagoon that's actually starting to green. But the bad thing is that Applied Aquatics is due any day. And they're going to dump hundreds of gallons of glyphosate into this canal, and it'll die. It'll turn black, and you'll see such a radical difference. It'll make you sick. But right now I have green out there, and you'll see what a difference it is with and without poison. Mind you, the birds haven't come back. My friend up the canal has blind turtles, if anybody's interested in figuring out why they're blind. Herbicides and pesticides, if you read about what the city of Miami did, you'll see. These things are no good for our environment. Right. You guys are supposed to be part of our environment. Right. We need to do whatever we can to offer the city alternatives to keeping the water flowing in those canals. So, but anyways, my house is open for you guys to view it. You can see what's going on, and you'll see what it is afterwards, too. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Bob.
Any
Thank you.
questions? I'll see you Earth Day.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Okay, so it sounds like, all issues that we've been talking about, so we'll be addressing them as we move forward.
The glyphosate, I think, is really something that we, is critical. Critical.
Yeah.
Yes.
It also occurred to me that if you're going to revise the landscape ordinance, you might want to consider putting something in there about rain gardens, because that is very important to keep the runoff.
With retaining the
happening.
runoff, as opposed to allowing it to just go
Yeah.
into the canals. Sure.
Jane, I kept the information from the seminar we went to. She can't hear me. I kept the information from the seminar we went to with the Audubon Society. When they did the rain gardens, I had the poster and the information from it. So I will bring that forward.
I don't know if actually, it's slightly related, but I saw something in the paper with the moorings, the development, how they've started to change some of their landscaping to put native landscapes, native plants right along the waterways. So it is happening locally as too, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, changes are happening, so hopefully we can kind of piggyback on some of those as well. Okay, any other public input? Okay. If we could then move to item 7, new business. I don't know, there's nothing listed there? Nothing there?
We deferred new business for this
Till the
month
next meeting.
to accommodate the planning of the Earth Day.
The Earth Day, got it. Okay, so then let's move to old business. So item A, our Earth Day and Arbor Day celebration. I'm going to turn it over to the woman in charge here.
Thank you. So, this is the 48th annual Earth Day. It was started back in 1970, kind of around the world. The focus for this year is on mobilizing the world to the end of plastic pollution, eliminate single-use plastics, along with global regulation for the disposal of plastics. We're right on board with this. A lot of our vendors are going to be doing information on the plastics, so I hope we get the word out there. If you Google plastic straws, we throw away 500 million plastic straws a day. But every time you go to the restaurant and they give you a straw, they don't even ask if you want a straw. That's my pet peeve. I wish I had a little piece of paper that I could put on that straw that someone would look at instead of just picking it up and throwing it in the trash. Because even if you say you don't want it, they still put it on the table and wait for you to want it. So,
I recently hosted an event, and we had all almost the same as plastic. Single-use plastic items need to be outlawed here in Sebastian, I believe.
I would, yeah.
okay. So for this year's Earth Day event, we're 2.5 weeks away, and as of today, we have 50 vendors signed up for the event. I am getting more vendors daily, and vendors questioning if it's too late, and it's never too late. All I have to do at this point is assign them a location. The map for the park is laid out. It's the same as last year. We keep the stage where it is for the concert in the parks, use the bleachers across from it. The large circle is pretty much filled on both sides of the circle with all the vendors. The food vendors will be going down from the bathrooms heading east, and anybody else that's signing up now will be starting on that smaller circle. We have 5 food vendors out of the 50 vendors that we have coming. We have a variety of hot dogs, gyros, barbecue pulled pork, baby back ribs, leg quarters, fried cabbage, baked beans, coleslaw, cheesecake, kettle corn, Italian ice and ice cream, and beverages. So there's going to be something for everybody. As of this morning, I have emailed once again any vendors that are on our list that participated in the past that have not signed up yet. So as of today, 50 vendors. In the last 2 years, we are probably around 55 vendors. We had approximately 60 sign up each year, but there's always a reason why someone couldn't make it at the end, so we're right on target. Waste management is set up. I talked to Amy again in March just to go over things, and we are all ready to go. She has our map of the park. She has the map where the recycling bin is going to go for our personal recycling. The city, I guess, also had a meeting with her, and the paper shredding and the recycling, electronic recycling is ready to go. Talked to Daisy at Curb. Curb is in to help us again this year. They will bring their recycle bins and the trash bags for us and have extra trash bags in case anybody wants to do any cleanups around the park or the lagoon while they're here that day, the 21st. I requested the check from the city for the fire permit. I had the application and the map ready to send in to them. I received the check tonight, so tomorrow I will put that in the mail and it will be set up and ready to go. Nothing has changed from the last 2 years, so I see no problem with our map or application. The state food permit is due to be sent in. I think as of now, having the 5 food vendors and everything pretty well covered, I'm going to go ahead and send that to Lisa so she can have the names to make sure she has all their information and numbers available to her. The city had a meeting a week or 2 ago, Margarita, and we went over what we needed for the event, and pretty much the same as last year. They will bring the wagons in the morning that we can use for the vendors unloading, so we keep all the vehicles off the park. We will have 2 tents. We will have 1 tent for the NRB for our personal information, and we will have 1 tent for the donations that the vendors are giving us for the raffle. We have 16 tables coming, 5 for our booths, 2 for one, 3 for the other one, because the donations pretty much fill up the tables in the booth. We're going to put 10 tables on the concrete pad in the center. We did that last year, and we did the rock painting in that area. And this year, we're going to add, well, one of the tables will be turned over to the pine cones. I had meant it for it all be in the U shape last year, but they put the pine cones off to the side, and that just meant somebody else needed to man it all day. So I think if the pine cone bird feeders is in the same U shape as the rock painting, it can all kind of be guided at the same time by one person in charge. 50 chairs. The street banner will be put up on Monday, and we have to wait till Monday because it says this Saturday on the banner, so we can't put it prior to the Monday ahead of time. They will also be setting up the stage and have the PA system available for our bands. And they will have the barricades and cones all available for the direction of traffic for the waste management recycling. So the city is on board and ready to go for us. Our budget looks very good this year. We have a budget of $1,500 with a fire rescue permit, or fire permit, excuse me. The rock painting, I bought rocks, that's very silly. The 4 bands, we are up to $469. So we're well in line. I have a estimate out on the thank you notes, and last year those were roughly $60. Still need to buy peanut butter, and if anybody has pine cones in your neighborhood that you can pick up, we need pine cones. I will have to add a few paintbrushes. I do have some left over from last year, and I need to discuss with Walmart if they will donate a bicycle again, or if we need to buy that out of our budget.
Okay.
Moving right along, Volunteers for the NRB booth. I need a volunteer that will be there to be available to talk to the crowd about our group and to answer any questions. And I thought, Nikki, you being the chairperson, you'd be the person to ask to.
No, I'm happy to do that.
And if you can bring anybody with you, and so you can take a break or walk around or anything, that's more than welcome too.
Okay.
Gil has already said he will help being our DJ, and he announces the bands, and he asks the questions for the door prizes. And in the past, we would pick up a door prize and call out a question, and they would answer it. I thought this year it might be nice to change it up, and when they answer a question, let them go to the table and let them select a prize. That way, it would be more compatible with something they want, instead of someone just receiving a prize that they really didn't care about. If they had the option of picking and choosing, that might be more fun. I recently won a skydive Sebastian package at Concert in the Parks, and it's not happening. So, yeah, I'll take a plane ride. I'll be the co-captain. So, for the activities, the chalk art contest is all ready to go. Alexis sent me a PDF this week on her chalk art contest, and she has everything ready, and we have extra chalk from last year that I will be giving her. We need a volunteer to set up the gopher tortoise burrow and to oversee it, and volunteers to help throughout the day. There are $150 worth of animals zip tied inside of it, and last year we lost one, but the volunteers more just to watch that animals don't come and go out of the burrow. So I need someone to volunteer to take care of it. Like I said, we had the pine cone bird feeders. We need someone that will stay at that table with the rock painting and the bird feeders. Scavenger hunt. Last year, we had the kids go to the vendors and look for clues for the scavenger hunt. And the year before, I used the props in the park. They went to the fountain and they read the sign. And I guess Paul Craigle, and I just sent them different items through the park, so they would have to learn a little bit something to answer the questions. Open for suggestions for this year. I even thought about taking a picture of the park and printing it in black and white and doing a sketch on it and having them find objects in the picture just to sit them down and look at our park closer. So the scavenger hunt before has been put at the same table as the door prizes. So the person that works that table would be asked to receive the door prizes in the morning and keep a list of them, hand out papers to the kids, and the paper is going to have the scavenger hunt on it. And at the bottom, there will be a place for the different activities we have. And when the children complete an activity, they will get a stamp on that block. And after they do 3 different activities throughout the day, they'll be allowed to throw their name in the hopper for the bicycle. So someone who wins a bicycle is going to be someone that is participating with us during the day. So like I said, rock painting is set up, ready to go. We have everything except a few extra brushes, so I need a volunteer for that. So we're looking at a volunteer for the gopher tortoise burrow, the pine cone and rock painting, and the scavenger hunt. And Nikki will be at our booth, and then we need someone for the raffle booth. So don't all speak up at once, but I'm looking at you for answers.
Rose, I was going to ask if you had asked any of the, like the Rotary Club has people who like to volunteer. We also have an Interact Rotary at the high school. We also have a wrestling team, a football team. We probably have a very large band. I didn't know if we could approach some of them for volunteers.
We absolutely can, but I would still like to have one of our members kind of in charge of each area to oversee those volunteers.
Rose, you can put me in the chalk or the rock painting.
Rock painting?
I think I can keep track of the rocks.
Thank you, Jason. Since Jason spoke up, Not even knowing he was a new member, he asked if there's any way he could help me for the event, and he came up with this nice PDF or flyer for us for the event, so very updated and catchy, and we will be distributing that and using it on social media and anything we can to get the word out. So I appreciate your help very much.
I'm going to want a copy of this.
You have a
Yeah.
copy. There's extra ones here for us to take home tonight. If everybody puts a few in your favorite restaurant or establishments, whatever.
Do we have an electronic version of this we could post on our Facebook pages and stuff like
yes.
that? Are we allowed to do that, post on our private Facebook page?
Sure.
Okay.
So I have that, and I will also send out Alexa's chalk art PDF, so you have it.
Rose, I think I can keep up with the gopher turtle. If you need a volunteer, I'll do the gopher turtle.
That'll work.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'll try not to lose him. Or her. I don't know what it is.
The whole setup is upstairs in the office. You may want to pick it up ahead of time and lay it out. It is PVC with fabric that wraps around it. There's carpet on the bottom, so they're on carpeting, indoor-outdoor carpeting as they crawl through.
Rose, I thought this was me and a gopher turtle. No, I'm
You can wear a
joking.
costume too.
There we go. Now we're talking.
Costume.
Earth Day.
It's not as hard as setting up a tent. It's a little
There we
easy.
go. Or carrying a banner down to the other end of town.
Is there any way that while I'm in the Natural Resources Board booth that I can help out with the scavenger hunt at the same time? Okay.
Yeah, there'll be time.
But if there's two of you, then there's room for you to walk the park or get something to eat or,
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I think for the scavenger hunt, I think having the kids move around and see the park and,
Okay.
I think that was a great idea. Unless there was anything that came up last year that you thought was an obstacle or problem for the kids?
no, not at all. Last
Okay.
year was going to the vendors.
Okay, yeah, I
So
mean,
do that again?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
sure.
Make them get in the booth? Okay.
Do the vendors have the stamps? Are they the ones who are doing that for the kids?
No.
No, we have the stamp.
Oh,
We
so
give
they
them to
come
the
back to us?
vendors and then they stamp the kids, right?
The stamps will be at the chalk art contest, the gopher
Okay,
art,
Oh, okay,
the
for our
rock
events.
painting, and the scavenger hunt.
Gotcha,
So
okay.
they'll do our events. A lot of the vendors are doing things, activities in their booths too, so I think it's going to be really interesting this year. There's going to be a lot of hands-on.
Rose, I didn't know if this being Earth Day, and we've had so many of these new openings in Sebastian, are any of the local new breweries invited to Earth Day?
No?
Are they
Because
able
it's a
to?
I believe because it's a city event,
City event? They like
there's
breweries?
no alcohol.
Oh, gotcha.
That
Okay.
would lead into having insurance
Yeah.
and a whole nother
Different
avenue.
permit.
And this is more for kids' activities,
I
so.
gotcha. Earth Day.
No beer on Earth Day.
So, guess we still need someone to work the booth for the donations and the scavenger hunt.
Maybe Jim can handle that one.
Do you want to put him there? Jim Clifton,
The
that used to be on
donations?
the board, offered to help that day, so I was kind of waiting to see where I wanted to use him.
If the Girl Scouts participate, I think they can help on the,
Rock
a
painting.
couple of loose ends there.
Would we just send them your email? Because I'm going to contact whoever I can at Rotary and whoever I can. Who would I send as the contact person?
nrbearthday@gmail.com.
Thank you.
I like everything going through there because it's all in one place and I have everything put in folders, so next year or whenever I might not be here, it can all be just passed over to someone.
I have tried to contact some, high school students. I haven't gotten much of a response, but I will certainly pass along any information that I get
Okay.
for students who are willing to volunteer as well. But the Interact Club, we've got one at Vero Beach High School as well, and I will try and contact them. I forgot about that.
So if anyone does contact anyone and gets volunteers, if you just email the Earth Day Gmail, I'd be happy to keep a log running and information on who's willing and what time. So we're 9 to 4.
Okay,
They
sounds
can either take a half a day, they can take a couple hours. We're willing
Okay.
to accept any help we can get. Entertainment is taken care of. Same 4 bands that we had last year. And I just have to say, our vendors and our entertainment are so easy to work with. Everybody is so willing, polite. I don't want to say it's a breeze because it's a lot of work, but they really make my job easy. So I'm going to keep the stage exactly the way it was last year with the times. Our mayor has told me that he will do the opening ceremony at 9 o'clock, so we'll have an opening ceremony with Jim Hill, Pledge of Allegiance. I put a question mark. We did a tortoise proclamation last year, and Ann read it. I didn't know if that's something we want to do every year or let it go. I think April 10th is known as the day for the recognition. So they try to get all the cities on board with it.
A tortoise proclamation, what is that?
The city did it last year, and it's just a national thing that April 10th is a recognition for gopher tortoises.
Oh, okay. Go for tortoise celebration.
Do we have to make a motion on that or just agree to it?
No, it's just up for discussion. It was something we did last year for the first time.
I don't mind doing it. I'm doing the Gopher Turtles. He'll be liking it too.
I think we should back the turtles.
After the fact?
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead and have
Yeah,
someone.
I
like
imagine there's
something-
no harm, and maybe just educate people about the gopher tortoise and,
Okay.
yeah. I had a quick question for with the theme being getting rid of the single-use plastics. I know at the last meeting, we had mentioned something about trying to encourage vendors to not use the single-use
Yes,
plastics.
right.
I don't know if you had been in touch with them about that kind of concept or idea, and I don't know if we can fit into our budget something where we supplement, where we, purchase maybe paper straws that are biodegradable, or some of the bamboo, forks and spoons, or if they're using silverware.
Right.
Why don't we work into our budget at least a setup of that to use at our own booth for education?
So we have ones that people would have
Maybe we
available
can
that they
show
could
them
use.
samples of what it
What they
looks like.
could use and
Okay.
Maybe
a
actually buy a
comparison.
box of it so maybe they could take one with them and use it.
Or even a comparison of price of, it's not much harder to do this.
I mean, it's amazing, if you look on Amazon, when you go to, order this stuff, if you're planning your event, it's very competitive pricing. There's really, the idea that, it's cost prohibitive is 10 years ago.
The cost, no, go ahead.
The week prior to the event, I send out a location for all of the vendors, and I let them know where they're going to be, so when they come to the park in the morning, they can shoot to their area without too much question. And in that, I send them back rules and regulations, like putting their tent up 3 feet off the sidewalk, so people have to step off the sidewalk to let the flow going. And I could put something in the single-use plastic with that, so it goes out to everybody.
I think that would be perfect, say, look, we have a large turtle population, we love turtles, please help us and help the turtles and not use single-use plastic. And
Especially with being the theme for this year, it kind of fits as well. Do you think 1 week gives them enough time to potentially prepare for that kind of thing?
probably not, but
I could
we
send
can-
it out to the food vendors earlier if you'd like me to.
I don't think that would be a bad
as
idea,
early
unless there's
as
another reason
possible. I
not
think
to.
there's only 5 food vendors, right? Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to make calls or whatever.
No, I'll just go
Yeah.
ahead and shoot them out an email. I have no
That's
problem doing
perfect,
that.
Okay.
I probably shouldn't say this. I had one vendor this week that wanted to come, and it was political, and I asked what they were going to do in their booth, and one was like voter registrations, like, okay, and they might do a children's activity, and the other thing was they wanted to hand out brochures. I'm like, It's an Earth Day event. I don't really want to hand out too many brochures. It's like trying to get away from paper and plastic. They're like, well, I'd have to see the rules on that. I'm like, so I don't know if they'll be coming or not. I didn't answer it. But we just try not to, like vendors handing out their stuff in plastic bags. It's like, wrong. So all of that's just things to watch.
Okay.
Let's see. I got off track here.
Well,
So,
will the city have a booth?
yes.
Okay, you folks will be there.
And her booth is going to be really
Public
cool.
Works will have a booth.
And going to do your oyster project.
Yeah, that's part of NRV. And Public Works mainly
Right.
deals with stormwater and various projects.
So on the stage, we're doing the entertainment. We'll have the chalk art contest winners awarded at 1:30. Daddy Wags will play for an hour and a half, and then at 3:45, we'll give the bicycle away, and that'll pretty much wrap up the day. Main thing we need to do now is get the word out. I've been laxed on this, and we just need to email, and on the back page, it has the different places that I have done the last 2 years. So last year, we paid for an ad in Hometown News, and I don't know how beneficial that was. It didn't go out until Thursday, and the agreement was if I paid for Sebastian, they would do Vero too, but it was like $160. And I just think if all of us worked it, got it out on social media, work wherever.
We do both. I mean, $160 isn't that much money, really. I mean,
But if they don't get the paper till Thursday and the event is Saturday,
if people, yeah.
do you read it as soon as it comes to your driveway, or does it sit?
Probably not. I don't know.
Have you contacted or thought about NPR at all? I hear all kinds of advertisements, and technically, as a government board, I would think that we could do that. I can look into that.
Sure.
I know that there's a station in Melbourne, a station in Fort Pierce. I'm not sure which would be the best one, but I can contact one or both of them.
I'd be happy to reach out to one too, so whatever.
Okay, I'll contact Fort Pierce. You want to do Melbourne?
Sure.
Okay.
So are you going to contact the advertisers, or?
If you want me to, then.
Will you?
Sure, And you'll give me the list?
Yeah, it's
That's
on.
right, okay, it's right here.
It's on there. Been there every month.
Oh, sorry.
So any questions? We have 2.5
Here we
weeks.
Birthday.
I think
I have a lapse in memory. There's a Vero Beach, it's free advertising. She puts it out on a website and also puts it out on a phone call, like an email. And I can't remember if it's Vero Beach News.
VeroNews.com.
It may be, and that's actually free. She puts it out on the website, on her website. And I think we should do it before this week is over, because she'll be going to print.
I can get a copy of this thing over to all these people on this last page, no problem.
Okay,
So,
okay.
once I get that, and we'll have this sometime tomorrow, I can presume the e-version of it?
If not tonight.
Okay, good.
I will be in the hospital with my mom tomorrow, and there's no internet there, so.
Oh, sorry.
I can email that out to the
Would
board
you?
members
Are you familiar with that?
Thank you.
tomorrow, first thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then
I
I'll
won't have any
contact
service
these guys,
tomorrow.
so.
I just listen. I don't know. I don't have any contacts.
Yeah,
So are-
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The website I'm talking about is on the last page on this. It's in blue.
Vero Beach.
Calendar at events, Vero Beach News.
Okay. And anywhere, your place of business, school, anything that you
Sure.
can, hang one of these signs or just get the word out, or social media, please. We look really good. I think 50 vendors is strong going into the event, and like I said, people keep emailing me daily. So,
Rose, do we have a list of the vendors with their emails?
we do.
Because we could approach them as well to have them also email their sphere of influence as well.
The
So maybe we
cooperative
get something.
advertising effort.
That's how I
Something
get a
going.
lot more vendors, because one person tells someone else, and I know someone from Melbourne's going to an event Thursday, and she asked if we still had room, so there may be a few more people coming
I
from
wanted,
there.
I wanted to send them to their friends so that they come out, because you want us to start contact people so that they'll show up. And then I want them to send it to their mailing list, you know, send them an email blast saying, hey, look, send this to your mailing list. And then ask their mailing list to send it to their local friends. And, you know, it would just be one more avenue of people.
Oh, Kim's going to send out the PDF for us, and you can blast that out anywhere, ask anybody to share it. The vendor list I will send to you. I updated it today, but the one on the packet is the old one. So I have an updated one that has new vendors on it.
We could send it to the old people too. I don't think they'll mind.
The
Send it
old
to the old people too. Send it to your old clients too. You had the list of old clients you were saying? We'll send it to them too.
I individually emailed each one of them again today. But
You're on it, Rose.
I'm on it. Whenever I have a time off. It's my first day off in a week. I had Easter this week, so very busy at work.
Oh, Rose, it's appreciated.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Rose.
Any questions, anything I'm missing?
No, ma'am.
I have a whole bunch of pine cones too. I have a big bin of them, so I
Okay.
can bring a bunch.
Okay. So I guess the next thing I need to do is get in touch with the
One question
food
for you,
permit.
Rose. Are you talking about like a shopping bag full of pine cones, 2 shopping bags, whatever?
Whatever, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't know how many we went through last year because I think Ann and Vicky brought them. So I will follow up with a food permit ASAP. I will follow up with the food vendors on the plastic usage, and I will add the single-use plastic to the list for the rules and regulations when I send it out to the vendors. Budget. I need approval to spend money. So we're still looking at buying the thank you notes. That's approximately $60. The peanut butter, which is going to be minor. A handful of paint brushes, which we already had that okayed prior to our last meeting. And the bicycle, if we need to buy it. Walmart donated it the last 2 years. Is Mark still there, Gil?
No.
No. Okay. So I meant to go there today, but I just did not find the time.
It is a new regime.
Okay. So I'm asking permission. I would like you to vote on spending money on the thank you notes. And what we do is the last 2 years, I took a shot at the park, sunrise or whatever, but I got in the park 1 year and I got in Paul Crago and the palm trees and water 1 year. Put a nice little thank you to the vendors inside of it from the Natural Resources Board. And at the end of the event, like 3 o'clock or so, I go around to each booth and I hand them out. And it gives each vendor the opportunity to praise us or give us any concern, or, and that way we don't have to have addressing them and buying stamps hanging over our head after the event. It's all done in one day. And
Great.
so I want to spend money on thank you notes. I want to buy the peanut butter and bicycle if needed.
Sure.
So we're looking less than $300, being very high end.
Is it possible to add on to that list some of the, like the biodegradable straws, the paper straws, the
Absolutely.
biodegradable
Yeah,
or bamboo
okay, yep.
silverware?
Absolutely.
I don't have an estimate on cost for that, but
Yeah, it's probably not more than 60, 70 bucks. I mean.
It will be that much?
to buy a decent supply. that
Probably
you
not.
could-
I mean, I bought 50 plates and everything for like that. So, I mean, I don't know how much we're planning on buying.
Are we
How
able?
much are we planning on buying?
Go ahead.
Is this for our own booth to show it, to demonstrate, or is it for usage?
Yeah, I would think just kind of some samples that maybe we could, that people could use is essentially, but
I mean,
not for
we're not
everyone.
serving anything in our booth. I
No.
mean,
Yeah,
but
no.
yes, for as an example, these are, some, recyclable bamboo.
Option.
25 to 25.
Yeah, that's probably a good number.
So straw, silverware, plates?
I don't even know if we need plates, I'm assuming.
I did the whole thing. There were cups, coffee cups. I mean, it's all you can get.
Yeah, they have it available. I don't know if we really need to. I think the silverware and the straws is probably sufficient.
Yeah, they're probably, okay, and you can say there's plates made out of the same material, same bamboo,
Right, yeah.
composite, whatever they use.
We can
Some
always
kind
put
of-
a styrofoam plate on the table and have 400 years to
Yeah, have
Right,
little
yeah,
sacks.
that's a great idea.
No, absolutely.
You know what, I know where those plates are, there were leftovers, so I can get, let me see what I can do, because I might be able to grab, it's at my nephew's house. Let me find out I'll get in touch
If
with
we
you
can have
about
a
that.
comparison of how long
But we
it
might not
takes.
need to be able to spend anything on that, that's what I'm saying, I might have that. I might have some examples of it.
$50.
The
Yeah,
cutlery
about
and
50,
the
60
plates.
Bamboo?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'll call my nephew and I'll call you, let you know.
So I would like to propose that we spend approximately $250 if we have to buy the bicycle to $300. That would include the thank you notes, the bicycle, peanut butter, paintbrushes, straws, silverware.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes.
Can we make it, do we have to make it as a motion to approve within that motion, can we just go ahead and approve your expenditure for the total amount in the budget after that as well? And do it all in one motion? This way we don't have to come back to the board again if you find something along the way that adds up to $1,199, you don't have to come back to the
Since we didn't have a meeting last month, this is my only shot to
Right.
get approval. And
So-
I won't spend that much money. We're looking very
Right.
good. We've
just to
only
go
done
ahead and-
469.
I think they trust you.
We can make the motion?
I make a motion to approve Rose's budget with a secondary motion to approve her up to the total amount in the budget.
Excuse me, staff recommends you set a quota that you don't want to exceed. I mean,
Right. That-
Our budget's at $1,500, and we've already spent 469 of it. But
But should you
I think
have,
we're well
500
within
is
there,
plenty.
yeah.
Okay.
I would rather save money, so if we get to help plant gardens out here or something and start getting native plants in our own flower beds here at the city, I would like to see budgets saved for,
Not saying you have to spend it, but in case you
Okay.
find something, you don't have to
Understand.
get a board approval before.
I won't be able to.
Right, you won't be able to, so that's why I was trying to get you approval,
Okay.
just in case.
But I think a cap of 500 is more than enough, and I'm hoping that the bicycle's donated again, so that expense won't be there.
That'll work.
How about if I just change my motion to approve your $500
Let's do that.
expenditure?
That's cool.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Do I have to say all those opposed? All those, okay. Motion is passed.
Okay?
Okay. Item B on old business, 8B, we have the role of the Natural Resources Board, and the first bullet there, we've got the Community Oyster Garden Project at the Working Waterfront. So Ms. Jones is going to be presenting some exciting stuff.
Yeah, that's my cue. So I'm happy to report that the redesign of the 2017 Oyster Promulgation Project, which the board approved at February's meeting, was accepted by our cost share grant partners at the Indian River Lagoon Council. Again, the same presentation. In order to go forward, we needed to have their agreement. Last week, Community Development Director Lisa Frazier and I met with Katie Lieben from the Brevard Zoo Restore Our Shores program and Dr. Robert Weaver from the FIT's Living Docks program. We toured oyster restoration sites and a backyard oyster garden, and the site really helped us to fine-tune our project plan. So what will now be called the Community Oyster Garden Project includes oyster baskets to be hung from the sides of Fisherman's Landing Municipal Dock and the incorporation of a living dock design wrapped around the posts. Juvenile oysters from a local aquaculturist will be added to the baskets, and over the course of a year, the baskets will flourish into a productive oyster reef. During that time, we will tend to our growing gardens and collect monthly data on their progress until they are ready to be integrated into a reef restoration project. The project's end product is now shifted from ecological restoration to education and outreach. The Community Oyster Garden Project will complement the outreach goals also of the Fisherman's Landing working waterfront where it's located, while providing an interactive educational experience for participants and visitors.
Very
That's
exciting.
great, thank you. So are those the baskets that will have to be maintained, or
The
like you had
same.
mentioned before? Okay.
They'll need to be removed regularly to, it's called defouling.
Sounds great. Any questions? Thank you, Kim. Next item under the Rollo Natural Resources Board, with the guest speaker schedule, Stephanie Fonville, who works with the Indian River County Solid Waste Disposal District, was originally scheduled to present this month, but she has a lot of Earth Month events going on as well. So we've scheduled her for next month's meeting at May 1st, where she can talk about some of the county issues with recycling and waste disposal in our local landfill. Okay. Any questions or comments on that? Okay. Then item number 8, we got member matters.
Not today.
Thank you, Jason, for joining the board.
Yeah.
We appreciate your help.
So any issues that you wanted to specifically address or bring up?
I'd like to just say one thing. With everything that happened down south, if we just take a moment to remember them at Parkland and as one of our sister cities. That's all.
Okay, then we'll move on to just item number 9 for next agenda. We have the native landscaping ordinance discussion. I'm hoping for that one, we can try and, maybe we can publish and send out the existing ordinances so we can have an idea of where we stand currently, and come up with a plan for how we can try and move forward and kind of addressing any issues. Yeah, it certainly makes sense. We don't want to bring in more exotics that we then have to pay to remove elsewhere. And then Part B, Sustainable Business Initiative. This was brought up last meeting with Ms. Weiss from See a Difference, where she had talked about her cleanup and some of the plastic pollution that they had encountered. And so, hopefully next month we can move forward trying to figure out how we can address the plastic usage or just sustainable business practices in Sebastian in a kind of cooperative way. I'm not sure if there's much more we need to discuss with those, just kind of.
Not really.
I see staff matters is not on the agenda today. Do you have anything?
No? Okay.
I just, along with this, what we were going to do on our
This microphone.
This is an interesting statistic. Floridians generate 32 million tons, 2 tons of waste per person every year, but only recycle 28%. That was eye-opening statistic, 28%, 2018. We should think about that when we come back next month.
A guest speaker will address some of those issues directly. So, okay, if there's nothing else, we'll adjourn for today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.